Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team pick.
Mirana.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Faceless Void.
Radiant team pick.
Skywrath Mage.
Dire team pick.
Shadow Demon.
Dire team ban.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game
Radiant
2
team
of
ban.
Newb versus Volvo Pls fix. This is game 2 of the round 1 playoff in the Orena Lifechild Invitational. Both teams are trying to make it through to the next stage. This is single
10
elimination.
seconds
Bear that in
remaining.
mind. Newb right now sitting with a one
5 seconds
with a one
remaining.
game in hand right now. They took down the first game, a very amazing game coming out from both
Reserve
teams.
time.
Both teams pretty much went toe to toe in terms of team fights, but Newb had the upper hand just because of the flexibility they had in their draft, in the sense that they had the pushing potential. So right now we're in a we're in a position where Volvo Pls are looking to even it up, get a game 3 going at some point, and try and take 2 games right now. And Newb are looking to close out the series 2-0 and make sure that Volvo Pls doesn't have a chance, pretty much
Dire
gets knocked
team
out.
ban.
As I said, this is single elimination. Now they're already underway in the bans and picks. Standard bans coming out from both sides considering the patch. Terrorblade being banned out, Terrorblade and Death Prophet being banned out from Newb. Pretty much what you don't want to deal with in
Radiant
terms of team
team
fights.
ban.
The silence, the exorcism, you don't want to deal with that in a team fight. You don't want to deal with the Terrorblade in terms of how he moves around the map as a Naga Siren as a Naga Siren substitute, so to speak. And Naga Siren and the
Radiant
Brewmaster
team pick.
being banned out coming out from Volvo Pls. Pretty much the control, they don't want to deal with that. They understand that the team fight potential of a Brewmaster, especially in this patch, is insane. And the Naga Siren, that ban had to happen because they pretty much saw that Skynet pretty much overran the entire game with that Naga Siren, and they don't want to deal with that ever again. And now that they get the that they've gotten an
10
inkling of
seconds remaining.
what Newb are doing with their gameplay style, they
5
ban out
seconds
both.
remaining.
They ban out the Leshrac, they ban out the Io once again. They don't want to deal with an Io. But on the flip side, with
time.
Shokta being banned out, with the Jakiro, pretty much standard bans when you look at Faceless Void and Skywrath Mage being picked up, because you already know the Chronosphere and the Mystic Flare is already in play. You don't want that with the Death Ward, you don't want that with the Macro Pyre. So great pick, great bans coming out from Newb, and the pushing potential of the Jakiro is also something that they don't want to deal with. So Faceless Void, Scarif Mage, and even a Puck coming out from
Dire
Volvo
team
Pls.
pick.
Once again, they're looking poised to be very aggressive in the mid game. I mean, Puck is one of those very aggressive early to mid game solo mids, and that Puck, that Fairy Dragon, she'll be looking to be a nuisance around the map. I mean, if ever there was one of the more aggressive early game to mid game solo mids, it would certainly be the Puck.
Radiant
And
team
Mirana
pick.
Shadow Demon, pretty standard combo coming out from Newb. What they do have for them is that we don't know if the Mirana is a core or a support. I mean, I've seen them run it as a core, I've seen them run it as a support, probably more so than they run it as a core, but it still doesn't give away much. But the Shadow Demon is obviously there for the combo up with that Mirana, and the Night Stalker. Now, I haven't seen this bad boy in
10
a
seconds
long while.
remaining.
Haven't seen this bad boy in a long while, and it should be
5
interesting to
seconds
see him go up
remaining.
against the Puck if they put him on the mid lane, which is his home turf, and
Reserve
it's going to be
time.
very interesting because I think the pick-off potential coming out
Dire
from the
team
Newb lineup
pick.
is going to be it's going to be insane in the very, very early stages of the game. I mean, Mirana and Shadow Demon are a very amazing roaming combination of heroes. And even if it's a trialing situation, they can pick up a lot of kills early game. And then I look at what Volvo Pls Fix has. They have a
Radiant team
very,
ban.
very good team fight lineup because the amount of initiation is insane. Once Puck gets the Blink Dagger, they've got the Waning Rift for the silence, and that's a big problem for the new lineup. They have the coil for that all-round disable, and on top of that, they have to worry about
Dire
that Faceless
team
Void
ban.
chrono. And the Lich is another factor because now they have to worry about Chain Frost on top of the Mystic Flare as well. So overall, Volvo Pls Fix putting all their cards once again into that hand
Radiant
that
team
is the
pick.
team fight hand. On the flip side, Please Don't Famous We Knew, they pick up the Centaur Orena to combo up with the rest of their lineup. Now, they don't have the more conventional team fight lineup, so I think in terms, if team fights do break out, I think they'll be a little bit of a disadvantage because Faceless Void has the ability to get in and make sure that your Centaur isn't that much of a factor in terms of in terms of what he does with his Stampede.
10 seconds remaining.
Lich, I think at this point,
5
the Lich
seconds
is also going to
remaining.
be something that these guys need to be wary of because if they do go into dual lanes, they're going to be nerfed of a little
Reserve
bit
time.
of experience coming out from Please Don't Flame Us We Are New. And I think they have a lot to worry out. We see a Bat Rider ban, certainly something you don't want when you have brilliant team fight. You don't want any disruption in the flow of your team fights, which is already a potential scenario with that Stampede being at play. But I think if I look at Noob's lineup, they don't excel particularly that well at team fights. I mean, they have good initiation potential in the Moonlight Shadow, but they don't have that easy get up in your face apart from that Centaur Warrior. And now going up against two silences, the Waning Rift, the Ancient Seal as well, that's going to be very worrisome. If ROC is the one playing that at Centaur Warrior, he's going to need to be very wary about that. And a Razor
Dire
gets picked up
team
for
pick.
Volvo Pls. So all around, that team fight is there, and now they even have pushing potential with the Razor if he's going to be going for that pushing build. So I think overall, Volvo Pls Fix having a very solid lineup, and in terms of team fights, once this team fight gets online, Newb has to be very careful because their lineup right now it excels
10
more so at
seconds
pickoffs
remaining.
and ganks than it does at actually fighting. But they pick up the Medusa as their last pick. Now the Medusa I worry about, and I like it. It's a 50-50 thing for me because they're gonna give it to Skynet, which is pretty much warranted considering how well he did with the Nagasaran in the previous game. But they're angling for the late game. And if Medusa does get to that point, and if they give her the space to get to that point, they will certainly overrun the Volvo Pls lineup going from the mid game to the late game. But Volvo Pls Fix has a lineup that kind of gets online very quickly in the sense that Chronosphere will be at the ready
10
very soon.
seconds remaining.
the Ancient Seal is going to be a bit of a problem for them to deal
5
with.
seconds
Puck is going to
remaining.
get online very soon. The Lich is also a big problem. The Razor excels with items, doesn't need them that much. So he's going to be moving very aggressively in terms of how he does in that game. So I think
Prepare for battle.
Newb has a very different game plan to what Volvo Pls has. Volvo has this is their game plan. Get levels as soon as possible, get your first items, and then from there we're pretty much going to deathball fight into Noob's lineup. And I think Newb might be very wary because their lineup doesn't really deal all too well up against that, aside from having the Stone Gaze, aside from having the Stampede and the Moonlight Shadow. So they do have great ways to disengage, but in terms of going 5 on 5, I don't see them winning team fights until the Medusa gets online, until the Centaur gets his Blink Dagger, until Mirana gets online as well. Actually, Mirana, since she's a support, it's going to be the Night Stalker. So I'm not entirely sure how they're going to make their game plan win, but I think for them it's going to be a pick-off game.
30 seconds to battle.
It's just to make sure that Faceless Void doesn't get his levels, just to make sure the Razor doesn't get his levels, just to make sure the Puck doesn't get his levels. But this is a very mobile lineup coming out from Volvo Pls. I mean, they have a Puck who's as elusive as a hero can get. Very elusive. They've got that fast movement speed Scarlet Mage. They've got the fast movement speed Razor, and
The
the Faceless
battle
Void who can get in
begins.
your face, get out of your face as quickly as possible. So before any action gets underway, let me introduce the lineups. Over on the Radiant for Volvo Pls, we have on the Skyrest Mage, we have LGK. Over on the Razor, we have Riz playing up that Razor, and it looks like Vulcan is going to be going on the off lane on that Faceless Void, and that means Iconic is going to be playing up that Lich. He's definitely going to be playing up that Lich, and it looks like Riz in a world of trouble. He's about to be first blood. They caught him with that arrow, and wham bam, he is first blood, giving Chidowi a head start right there. But nonetheless, over on the mid lane, Riz off to an awful start for a Razor, and over on the off lane is that Puck. Well, on the safe lane, solo lane, is that 209 Puck, and he'll be looking to get his levels and Blink Dagger up as soon as possible. But now it looks like they've made it an aggressive tri-lane. This should be interesting to see because Lich doesn't typically do that well in tri-lanes, and now you're putting him in an aggressive tri-lane. I don't know. I think Newb might punish that because Lich typically is not the hero you want in tri-lane situations. And if they wanted to go for an aggressive tri-lane, they should have possibly thought about picking another hero because S powered and 225 is definitely going to get aggressive, and before they get into any amount of action, because that's definitely going to happen. Skynet is playing up on that Medusa. Crossing Field, aka S Power, playing up on that support Mirana. We've got 225 playing up the Shadow Demon, and over on the mid lane we've got Chidowi playing up that Night Stalker. And on the off lane we've got ROC. Now he's gonna have a good time. He's gonna have a decently good time because there's not much that the Puck's going to do sub-level 6 to try and kill him down, and Puck actually has to be very wary of the amount of burst damage that could be coming from ROC in that double edge. So I think this lane should be fine for both heroes. They're going to get their levels, they're going to get their farm, and with no reprisal whatsoever. And I think this early game, man, I don't know, it may be a mistake to put Iconic in a tri-lane situation because he is a Lich. It is what he is. He is a Lich, and a Lich doesn't do all that well in these kind of situations. Looks like 225 looking to go in aggressively on Riz, but Riz pretty much has the heads up, knows that something is up, and there's no way they're going to dive in that deep to go for that
Radiant's
kill.
middle
And
tower
now
is under
225
attack.
and 225 and Ace Power have pretty much wasted a lot of time, so they could decide to go in over on the bottom lane, but at that point that's also a bit of a tough spot to go in, and they've left Skynet in a vulnerable position because he's not at the level where he's actually not survivable, but it looks like they're looking to go in aggressively, and if they can get some good aggression over onto that Puck. We've got an illusory orb going out. Now the orb is out the way, so that means Puck is in a world of trouble. He face shifts. Oh, the defensive misplay coming out there. There goes a soul catcher as well, but 225 is in a world of trouble. He does jaunt out. Can they get the kill? Can they get the arrow? The arrow! Hashtag calculated, catching 209 on that puck, and that's another kill going the way of Newb. And this is exactly what their lineup pretty much excels at early game. It excels at those pickoffs, and they're getting the right pickoffs, and this is exactly what Volvo Pls fix need to be very wary about. I mean, they had a ward there, and unfortunately you have to be very careful as a puck when you're playing in a lane where you don't have that much in the way of insurance. You need to be careful of how you use your illusory orb, because if you're in a very aggressive position, which he was, I mean, he was at this point. He was pretty much at this point. When you're at that point and you use the illusory orb in the way that he's using it like now, you find yourself in a very vulnerable position, because then you might be privy to getting ganks. And Chidowi actually doing very good over on that mid lane. He looks like he's going to get a kill onto Riz. Riz, can you get the deny off? Can he get it? He actually gets the deny off, so nothing gained for Chidowi. But on the flip side, Riz is falling behind in terms of farm. So I think Chidowi will be happy with that nonetheless. He doesn't have his crippling fear of silence. He just has the void. But that was enough
Radiant's
to make
middle
sure that
tower
that kill
is
went
under
off
attack.
without a hitch. He may not have gotten gold for that, but he did stop the progression coming out from this. So 3 for 0 going the way of Newb right now, and their lineup is getting very aggressive. And the one thing about the Nightsword is that he has to pretty much snowball. If he doesn't snowball, then there's no reason to pick him. And right now, Chidowi's on the way to snowballing, because you look at the CS shot right now. We're in the middle of first night. He actually uses darkness. You don't typically see darkness being leveled at level 6, but he chose to go for it, and he's used it immediately on the night time. Now the bigger thing for their lineup, it's about to snowball, because it excels very well at early game, and it looks like 225 and S-Power looking to get something going over on
Dyer's
the
top
mid lane.
tower is
And
under
Riz
attack.
smells a rat, man. He
Radiant's
smells a rat. He
middle
knows
tower
something's
is
going in.
under
And
attack.
Chidowi's going in. There goes the Stampede. Can they get anything further? Riz in a world of trouble right now. There goes the Void. It slows him down. There goes the Soul Catcher and the Disruption. There goes the Arrow. And that is an effortless gank if I've ever seen one. LGK may have just fed his life there trying to save his partner right there. There goes the Frost Blast. But the Void actually been committed onto LGK. It looks like the puck's about to go in. 209 illusory orb, and it looks like 225 actually getting taken down by the 209 puck. But they'll be happy with that exchange. I mean, they got Riz. They got Riz, and they only lost 225 on that Shadow Demon, so they'll be happy with that. And I guess the puck got the kill on 225, but they'll be happy with that exchange. A call for a support. I'll take that any day. I mean, you look at the CS chart right now. We're past the 5-minute mark, and 30 for 16 is that Centaur War Runner. This is not the position you want ROC in, because if he gets this much space, that Blink Dagger is going to be coming up in no time whatsoever. He already has his Trankles, and that is a key thing to watch out for. And Volvo Pls fix, I think once again, I think the early game is not. I think that's definitely not their favorite territory, the early game, because right now they're being overrun in all 3 lanes. You look at what ROC has, 34 for 19 on the CS chart, heading up the charts easily, and followed up. And granted, he's followed up by the Faceless Void, sitting at 31 for 10. But the Faceless Void is, because he's kind of the farmer in this game. It's a lot of farming pressure being put onto him. He has to farm up, and it's going to be a point where he's going to have to be the hardest damage dealer of this lineup, and that's a worry. Over in the mid lane, looks like they're about to get a kill onto LGK. There goes your Plasma Field going out, and Riz in a world of trouble right now. They do get the kill over onto the puck. Centaur gets it on the back lines, and Riz in a world of trouble. There goes the Void as well. Can they get the kill under him? Chidowi taking a lot of tower shots, so Riz may be going in. There goes the Razors.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Plasma Field as well, taking down Chidowi. So it's essentially they lost the puck, they lost the support as well, and they lost Chidowi over on the Newb side. So once again, I think Newb will be happy with that. They're sitting at 6 for 2 lead, a pretty good lead considering their lineup. Considering the amount of space they need to give Medusa in order to farm, and she's getting a decent amount of farm arguably not the best, considering that she has 3 farmers ahead of her, but she'll be happy with that, considering the amount of pressure that Newb is putting on the Volvo Pls lineup. And Puck right now is in a precarious position. It looks like Puck is going for the phase boost
Dire's
build
top
instead of
tower
going for the
is under
treads.
attack.
It should be interesting to see if it works out very well. And I'm not entirely sure that's the best build, because that's a very race car build, and going for a race car build on a Puck, it's risky because you don't have the option of tread swapping, which is very strong on a Puck. And yes, you get a bit of added damage. You get a
Dire's
bit of
top tower
added
is under
movement
attack.
speed in terms of having the phase ability. But I just worry about his potential in terms of the trade swapping, because trade swapping is huge on a Puck, man. And going up against a lineup that has so much burst damage, I think phase boost may just be the worst choice. And it looks like they're looking to go in aggressively on ROC, but he does have his blink dagger. There goes the coil being committed. We've got the concussive shot as well, and there goes your stampede. He breaks the tether, he breaks it, and there goes you arcane bolt. And once again, a lot committed onto that kill, but he's so tanky, he took a lot of that. And it looks like over the mid lane, Riz in a world of trouble right now, but nothing gained, nothing lost. But it's starting to show, man. Newb's lineup, they're surviving. They're pretty much winning all 3 of their lanes, because the Faceless Void right now, since he's the hard farmer, there's nothing he can do apart from provide a Chronosphere. And he needs to be very wary of when he's fighting, because he's not just there for the Chronosphere, he's also there for the potential damage. And arguably speaking, yes, they do have a decent amount of early game damage, in the sense that they have a lot of bursts coming out from the Puck, the orb, the rift, and the coil. And at some point, once Lich gets level 6, they'll have the burst damage coming out from the Chain Frost, and soon enough they'll have the Mystic Flare. But the supports, their levels aren't that much to speak of. On the flip side, Newb supports simply because they've been doing a lot of roaming, are sitting at level 4 and 3, so they're heavily under leveled. But I think Newb will still be fine with that, because ROC's farm it's ridiculous at this point, sitting at 4k net worth. Sub 10 minutes in as an offlane centaur. Granted, he didn't have a lot
Dire's
to deal
middle
with,
tower is under
especially
attack.
considering he was going up against the Puck.
Invisibility.
So I still think it's a position you don't want to find yourself in as Volvo Pls. Having a ROC centaur who's sitting there with a blink dagger and tranquils 10 minutes in, and now looks like they're about to go in on 209. There goes the blink stomp, double edge, and the arrow, and that's a very dead Puck. And that's the slowing down of the blink dagger progression. And looks like they try to go on to Skynet, but Skynet's actually he's a bit tanky right now. They committed a full on Chronosphere, and they got nothing for their troubles. And I think it was a little bit overzealous going for that Chronosphere play, because they have to realize they don't have the burst damage coming out from the Skyrock Mage, who's still at level 4, and Lich doesn't have level 6 yet. So I question the validity of going for that kill, especially knowing that at some point that mana shift's
under
going to be
attack.
up. And now, do they have level 6? They don't have level 6, but they do have a lot of burst damage. There goes the Arcane Bolt over onto Skynet, but he does quell them back, so they can't really get a kill. Iconic TPing out, because he was certainly a target. And right now, Newb are in the driver's seat. They're in the driver's seat, and it's a world of trouble. There goes the Shadow Demon Disruption. Blink Stomp, double edge, LGK is down. There goes the Stampede, and now it looks like Valken in a world of trouble. He doesn't have mana for the Time Walk, so he's in a world of trouble. But they're gonna back off because they see the TP coming out from the Rix. Rix doesn't have mana though. If they do realize this,
Dire's bottom
they will
tower
probably
is
go
under
back because
attack.
225 and Skynet are sitting pretty low on health, so they won't want that. There goes the blink, there goes the stomp, the double edge, and it looks like once again Falcon takes his spill to that Centaur ROC, but Lich does get the kill over the Centaur Orena, but nonetheless they'll still be happy with that. I mean, they got a lot of kills for that, and they're still overrunning the Volvo Pls lineup. And previously they had a decent team fight, but the bigger problem for Volvo Pls lineup right now is that they have a great team fight, but so does Newb. And if Noob's team fight gets online, how do they deal with this? Because this team fight is going to be going into the late game. You don't want to be dealing up with a very tanky Centaur going into the mid game and to the late game. You don't want to be dealing with a Medusa who's pretty much the same, and she's going to be dealing massive amounts of DPS once her key items come up. So I think right now the ball's in Volvo Pls Fix's court. They need to get something done. If they don't get something done, they're going to be in a position where they start losing territory, they start losing map control, and they start losing team fights. And Chidowi's Night Stalker is going to keep snowballing, and that's a situation you don't want to find yourself in. As I mentioned, the top 3 farmers, it looks like they're about to go in on Chidowi. There goes the Chronosphere. A few right clicks going out, but there's not enough damage potential, and they're going to turn around on Vulcan. There goes the Stomp, there goes the Stampede, and now we're going to Chain Frost. The Chain Frost isn't going to bounce, it only ends up on Chidowi. And 225 may be the collateral damage, but they'll be fine with that, because if that's the collateral damage for taking down Vulcan, it looks like we got a Blink Stomp, Double H, and Rick's about to be collateral damage as well. So once again, it's a 2-for-1, and that 2-for-1 going in favor of Newb. And right now, Newb is in a commanding position. 13 minutes in, they're sitting at 11-for-4 kill lead. You look at the goal graph right now. The goal graph is inching toward the 5k mark in favor of Newb, and the XP graph as well, sitting at 2.5. And it's safe to say they have a decent lead, and this is not the position where you want to be in when you've got a lineup that has a Faceless Void who's the hard farmer as opposed to the offlaner. And it looks like they actually take down the iconic Lich once again. And for me it boils down to having to commit a Lich into an aggressive tri-lane. I don't see the validity of it. I don't see it at all. And because you committed him into a tri-lane, his levels didn't come out early enough, which means you didn't have the Chain Frost early enough, and you didn't really sap anyone else's leveling potential, whether it be Chidowi, whether it be ROC. And it looks like over on the bottom lane they're looking to get in aggressive. We've got a smoke, we've got an aggressive smoke coming out, and they're about to possibly catch the puck. If they do catch the puck, it's a world of trouble. There goes the crippling fear onto Falcon, and Falcon once again takes a spill. We've got the demonic Purge over onto 229. He did get the Radiant Rift off, but it's to no end whatsoever as Chidowi gets a double kill. It's safe to say he's snowballing, and he's about to get another kill onto Riz. Can he get anything further? He does get the slow off onto Riz, but Iconic is there to provide some level of support. Can they get any further? He looks at the crippling fear going out onto Iconic. We've got the Moonlight Shadow going out, the Mystic Flame missing out completely, and the Moonlight Shadow is there to actually secure their survivability onto Rick. So Rick's, Chidowi is pretty much overrunning the map right now. You look at his kill score right now. He's sitting at 314. Actually, ROC is pretty much doing the same thing. And the bigger problem for Volvo Pls Fix is the global presence coming out. Oh
Radiant's
no.
top tower is under attack.
Oh no,
Radiant's
mistakes
top
were
tower has
made.
fallen.
Mistakes
Dire's
were
middle tower
made.
is under
Mistakes were made. Oh man, Tranquil Boots lost to the puck. ROC, what was your plan? He saw the TP coming in, and he still didn't keep the Tranquils, and now he's in a world of trouble. There goes the coil, there goes the Double H. The Double H does take down the puck, but on the flip side, he does lose his life to LGK. And on the mid lane, it looks like they actually going on to Riz, as they did take down the Lich as well. So it's 3-for-1 going in favor of 3-for-1 right now, going in favor of Newb. And aside from them losing the Tranquil Boots, which is kind of a big misplay coming out from the Centaur Orena, they get some good kills around the map, sitting at 17-for-5, which is not the place Volvo Pls Fix wants to find themselves in, because soon enough that Medusa is going to be a big problem, and they're not pressuring her whatsoever.
Radiant's middle
They're not
tower is
pressuring
under
her
attack.
whatsoever. Look at her CS sitting at 18-for-15, followed up by the Centaur Orena, who's sitting at 17-for-23. That is not a position you see on a Centaur Orena in too many games, and it looks like he does decide to buy his Tranquils once again. Oh man, RC, don't do that again. Please don't do that again. But nonetheless, the Lich is about to take a spill as he gets caught with the crippling fear, the void, and Chidowi with a double damage rune doing so much
Radiant's middle
damage right
tower
now.
is under
And
attack.
it's nighttime, man. It's nighttime. It's time for the Night Stalker to stalk. And there goes his darkness. And Vulcan needs to get away. And he does. He time walks away, so he'll be fine for the time being. But once again, the fear of God is being put into him. He's looking to go into his Mask of Madness. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to mean anything in the grand scheme of things for
Radiant's
for
bottom
his,
tower
for
has
his,
been denied.
Faceless Void, because right now Faceless Void he's pretty much a non-factor. He's there for the Chronosphere, and the Chronosphere doesn't have any real damage follow-up apart from the Chain Frost, apart from the Skywrath Mage's ultimate, and for the most part it hasn't really been
Radiant
successful.
structures
There goes the
are
Fortify. They're
fortified.
looking to get in the deny. Can they get the deny off? They're gonna get the deny. There goes the Razor deny.
Radiant's middle
So
tower has
I
been
guess that's one
denied.
win for them. But the way the game's going, I think Newb will be fine. They just wanted the tower down. They want to whittle down the territory. They've got actually all the tier 1s down coming out from Volvo Pls. So they're losing territory,
The
which
prize is
essentially
mine.
means Faceless Void confirmed. It looks like they're about to go in mid 225 in a world of trouble. The Moonlight Shadow being committed as well, but it does nothing to correlate damage. It looks like Stampede, the turnaround is coming. Riz in a world of trouble. There goes your Stone Gaze. Can they get anything? Riz takes a spill. He does get the Plasma Field off, and it looks like they're about to get another kill. They get down, the kill over onto Iconic, and it looks like LGK next on the hit list. Dead Man walking, and the arrow catching him, and Chidowi once again on an unstoppable streak with a double kill. How do you stop this team? The aggression they have, and now
Radiant's
Skynet,
bottom tower
he
is
almost
under
has his,
attack.
he pretty much almost has his Lincoln Sphere, and with his Lincoln Sphere up, how do you stop him? Because Skynet, there's no way you can stop him because ROC's there in the front lines. You can't really get to Skynet, and at this point, Chido is also in the front lines, getting down and dirty. There's nothing you can do to stop him at this point, and I don't see this lineup coming back.
Radiant's
Razor
middle
doesn't play
tower
that well
is
from
under
behind,
attack.
and you can even look at his items. Oh, looks like over in the mid lane, RSC committing onto a double-edged stomp there, but he does get caught in the Chronosphere. So the turnaround coming out, and LGK gets that kill, and well, being a little bit over aggressive there, ROC pretty much testing the boundaries of what he can do. But once again, it's not enough, man. It's not enough. It's not enough. A lot of skills committed into that. The Chronosphere is now on cooldown. The Chain Frost is still available. The Coil is still available, and Puck now does have his Blink Dagger. So I think that's gonna be key in trying to re-engage into some of these engagements. LGK being caught with the Void. Looks like they're about to go in on Chidowi. There goes the Coil, the Waning Rift. There goes the Mystic Flare as well, and Chidowi's about to take a spill. Not before he takes down LGK. Can they actually get the kill onto him? He's super fast, but the Frost Blast takes him down, and that's a wicked 6 streak ending for Chidowi's Night Stalker, going the way of Lich. So a lot of gold going his way. And if I look at the fight recap right now, a great gold change coming out for the Volvo Pls lineup, but they still need a lot more. Look at the gold graph. We're 20 minutes in, and it's at 12k in favor of Newb. And initially in the previous game, I would have said it was down to the Naga Siren, but right now it's pretty much down to the amount of pressure they're putting around the map. I mean, 22 for 8, that's a sizable lead if ever I saw one. And now the arrow catching Vulcan, Stampede being committed as well. And once again, Vulcan cannot get his farm up, and this is the key problem when you put down the Faceless Void in a farming position. You put the impetus on farming on the Faceless Void, and you can't use his Chronosphere just for the fights because you don't have real damage follow up. I mean, you look at Riz right now. We're 20 minutes in. All he has is phase boots and drums. Not phase boots. He has the treads, the power treads, and the drums. So right now, there's not much he can do. And he's about to take a spill over onto Chidowi because Chidowi's about to go in. Skynet's there at the radio as well. And there goes that crippling fear. The Mystic Snake going out. And an arrow going out as well. The arrow not needed whatsoever because Skynet gets the kill with the Medusa. And at this point, I cannot see this lineup coming back into the fray because Puck doesn't play all that well from behind. He's a mid-game dominator, and if you're being dominated when you have a lineup that has a Puck, then you have a problem. Look at the items coming out from the Newb side. They already have a 22 minutes in on a support hero. They have them making looks like they're about to go in. Falcon in a world of trouble right now. Eats a stomp, eats a double edge. Even the stampede being committed, but Falcon once again not being given any space to farm. And now they know there's a ward there. They know there's vision, and they had to stop it. But what can they do? Because in terms of farming potential, Faceless Void, not the best hero for this.
Radiant's top tower
Not the
is
best
under
hero
attack.
for this. And the puck would have been great if they could have gotten some momentum, but that's certainly what they don't have. And Razor's playing from behind right now. He's playing catch-up Dota, and playing catch-up Dota up against Medusa, Centaur, and the Chidowi Night Stalker, you're not gonna have a good time whatsoever. And now he has his Axe Scepter, so that nighttime, man, that nighttime is gonna be a big problem. Nighttime is going to be a nightmare for Volvo Pls. It's already been a nightmare, but ramp it up a notch. And ROC once again, look at the goal graph, or rather the net worth chart. 10k sitting for that Medusa. Medusa farming up a storm. Chidowi on that Night Stalker sitting at 9.5, 8.9 on that ROC Centaur Warrunner. So it's safe to say, man, they're getting a lot done. It looks like what a stampede going out there, looking to go over onto Outbreaks. There goes that stomp. Follow up onto that disruption. Looks like they're looking to turn around onto RSC. He pops the plate mail. He gets out. The Moonlight Shadow is there, and they don't have any vision. They don't have any vision, so they can't really get the turnaround. Okay, they do have a gem though, and a gem this early is a sign of things to come, because at this point, if you have to commit into a gem 24 minutes in, then you've got a big problem. Chidowi's looking to go in aggressively, and 209 is in a world of trouble. There goes the blink, there goes the stomp, and that's a dead puck. I don't know what they can do at this point. This game is almost done and dusted. At this
Radiant's
point,
bottom tower
the
is under
Faceless
attack.
Void has not been given any space to farm. I mean, you look at the supports right now. The supports are heavily farmed. Look at the Shadow Demon. The Shadow Demon sitting middle of the pack. Sitting there, he's already got his Blink Dagger Arcanes, and they're
Radiant's
going to
top
take down
tower
another
is under
tower.
attack.
They haven't lost a
Radiant's
single
bottom
tower,
tower
and they're not
has
going to.
fallen.
They have a Medusa. They have a Centaur Warrunner, and the Medusa has been left unchecked. And I think it's a weird decision coming out from Volvo Pls to leave the Medusa unchecked. It looks like they're about to go in. The blink, the stomp. The stomp doesn't lash because Val can actually time walks out. It looks like they're about to get the turnaround. The Mystic Flare going out, catches 225, but the Stampede is there at the ready. ROC being dealt a lot of damage. He pops the blade now, and you have the Idle Storm going out, the coil catching a few, but he takes a spill, and there goes the Chronosphere. Chronosphere catching 225 and S-Powered. S-Powered should get out of the way, and it looks like he gets caught by that Chain Frost. So 3 for 1, this time in favor of Volvo Pls, and that's the kind of fight they need.
Radiant
Question
structures
is
are fortified.
it enough? But well played. That was an admirable team fight coming out from Volvo Pls, and the kind of team fight they needed, because Newb was simply overrunning them. I think Newb kind of got a little bit overzealous once again, and I think it's a theme of Noob's gameplay. Noob play amazing Dota, but they always need to be very wary about giving too much leeway once they have a lead. I mean, they have a sizable lead. If 15k isn't a sizable lead 25 minutes in, I don't know what it is, because looking at the gold graph, they're sitting at a 15k. They're sitting at a 15k gold lead, almost a 15k XP lead as well. So it's safe to say they have a sizable lead, but they need to make sure, especially with the rubber band effect coming out from 6.82, not as much in 6.82C as it was in the original 6.82, but it's still something to always keep in the back of your mind when you give away team fights, or when you move in too aggressively in team fights that you shouldn't even be engaging in. And right now, I look at them right now, they're looking to move in aggressively, and it's only 2 supports right now, S-Powered and 225. They're about to move in on a 5-man unit. Actually, I don't think that's a great idea, but once again they actually rethink their prospects, and it looks like they're gonna go on mid. And now the Stone Gaze is at the ready, and there's a lot of damage potential coming out from this lineup. So I think if a full-on 5-on-5 engagement breaks out, Volvo Pls are in a world of trouble. But the Chronosphere is at the ready. Oh, it actually isn't, and it looks like they're looking to go in aggressively. The Chronosphere down for 10 seconds. And they'll wait it out. They'll have it in about 5 seconds. So it should be ready as the next team fight does break out. It should be ready when the next team fight does break out. I think they just need to make sure that they are the ones in charge of the next team fight. Because if they're not the ones in charge of the next team fight, then they've got a problem. But right now, these guys posturing around the mid layer. They want to take down that tier 2. And both teams probably looking to get the jump on their opponents. And whoever gets the jump will possibly take down the team fight. More so likely if Newb doesn't. An arrow catching Falcon, and there goes the stomp. There goes the mistake snake as well. And that is Noob's team fight to take right now. I have the storm going out. There goes the stone gaze as well. So Riggs has to back off, even with the Eye of the Storm going out. So that means the tower is going the way of Newb. And this has pretty much been the story of the game. Newb overrunning Volvo Pls. And there's not much they can do. Skynet's getting to a point where how do you take him down? Blink Stomp, Double Edge, and wham bam, he's out. RSC's out. There goes a coil catching him. There goes a full-on mistake flare, but the blade mail was up. But the damage was done. The damage was done. They took down the tier 2. They got 2 kills for their troubles as well. And Newb will be happy with that. Newb will be happy with that. At this point, RSC's about to get his Mjolnir up, and another worry. If you thought Medusa was hard to kill, she has the Eye of the Scotty right now. She has the Eye of the Scotty, and I don't know how they intend to take her down, because you're not getting to her, because she's not the frontline hero even. And it looks like over on the top lane they're looking to go in on Riz. They did get the disruption and the soul catcher. Looks like they're about to go in onto Riggs. Riggs in a world of trouble. The arrow catching Riz, but there goes a follow-up Chronosphere coming out from the Volvo Pls lineup, and they're about to take down Ace Power. They're about to take down 225 as well, and Skynet in no man's land right now. He's about to take down. He may be tanky, but that's a lot of damage. Vulcan about to eat a lot of damage from the Mystic Snake, but 3-0 right now in favor of Volvo Pls, and this is exactly the kind of lax behavior I was talking about coming out from Newb. This is exactly the kind of lax behavior I was talking about. They moved in way too aggressively there. They saw the TPs coming in. Instead of backing out, they committed. They committed into a team fight. Where they were overly mispositioned, and they paid heavily, losing 3 kills. And one of those kills being on the Medusa. That is not a position that they want to be in. And I mean, you look at the goal graph moving toward the 20k mark, but there was a goal swing going the way of Volvo Pls in that team fight. So I think they need to watch out, man. Looking at the HP graph, it was sitting at 15k. Right now it's at 7.5. This is a sign of what I'm talking about, the rubber band effect. They need to be very cognizant of that rubber band effect, because if they go on tilt, they've got a big problem. Excuse me. Now, if they do decide they're gonna go on tilt, they need to be very. They're gonna give it way too much to that face, because at some point he's gonna start dealing a decent amount of damage. He does have his Maelstrom at the ready right now, and that's something they need to worry about. On the flip side, Newb is going to be committing into taking down that Roche. They're going to get the first Aegis of the game, and once that goes on, it actually goes down to the most aggressive of the heroes right now. Chidowi on that Night Stalker getting that Aegis, and with him securing an Aegis, you know very well they're going to get aggressive. They're going to ramp it up a notch. Put it into high gear. I mean, they've already been playing a very aggressive start of Dota right now. They're looking to go aggressive, and there goes the Darkness being committed as well. So there's a push coming out from the bottom lane, but if they can catch them, or rather they're actually going to commit, they're actually going to force them to go back. They're about to go in high ground. Can they actually go high ground? The Stone Gaze is at the ready. There goes a defensive disruption. It's actually more so to get more illusions up. And there goes your Plasma Field going out. But they're going to try and get some more damage. It looks like Chidowi in a world of trouble, eating an Ancient Seal, eating an Arcane Bolt. So he has to back off. It looks like we're going to get a Chronosphere. A Chronosphere catching too, but it's only the support. There goes a Stone Gaze in response. And there goes a Blink. Stop, Double Edge as well. And they took down Falcon. They take down the support Lich as well, and they take down the Razor. And now this is the prime the prime situation where they can take down 209 as well, and they're gonna get laner axe, ladies and gentlemen. No buybacks coming out from the Radiant. The only one with a buyback, and they call GG because there's no way to come back, ladies and gentlemen. No way to come back.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Newb
Dire
playing
victory.
a much more dominant game in game 2, taking a much more dominant game 2, pretty much securing their place in the next round. And in the next round, they'll actually be playing up against the winner of the Energy Esports game, if I'm not mistaken. That should be a cracker of a match. That should be definitely a cracker of the match. But nonetheless, Newb take a very convincing win, and I think it's down to how each lineup was supposed to work. Volvo Pls had a lineup that was geared for the team fight, and it had a pretty strong team fight. But the team fight coming out from them needed a few levels. Puck needed to obviously get his levels. He needed to get Blink. The Razor needed to get some form of farm. The Faceless Void was put in a safe lane farming position, which meant his overall influence around the map was not as prevalent as he would have been if he was an off-lane Void. And then you saw the Lich. The Lich needed his level 6 to be a factor, and on top of that, they put the Lich in an aggressive tri-lane. Now, Lich suffers a lot if you put him in tri-lanes, but putting him in an aggressive tri-lane situation means levels are a problem. It means in terms of your core hero who's farming in that lane, he's in a lot of danger. And as you can see, the Faceless Void 084, not getting a single kill. And Newb got very aggressive, man. They had the lineup that had the early game roaming potential, the early game pick-off potential. They had a Centaur Orena who was owning his solo lane up against the Puck. You had the Medusa who was kept unchecked. You had the Mirana and the Shadow Demon who were constantly roaming and successfully getting kills around the map. And obviously Chidowi overrunning the game with that Night Stalker. Well played to Newb. Moving on to the next round, and I think the next round should also be a cracker of a match, but nonetheless, well played to both teams. And Volvo Pls say goodbye to their hopes for making it to the finals. I'm your host Saint D from EAE Gaming, and this was the first round of the Orena Lifechild Invitational. And as it stands right now, we've got a few teams who are going to be pretty epic. I know Bravado Blue is going to be playing up against the winner of Bravado Emotion of the Bravado Emotion game. Now I don't want to make bets or anything. It's going to be a safe bet to say Bravado Emotion will probably move on to face Bravado Blue, and that should be a hell of a cracker of a match. But nonetheless, for more info on the Orena Cup, follow orena.co.za or follow the Orena SA Facebook page. Follow EAE Gaming on EAE Gaming on Facebook, same handle on Twitter, and follow the EAE Gaming website, and you can get more coverage of the tournament. Cheers folks, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have more games for you tonight as we move into the next round of the Orena Lifechild Invitational.